You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Oh, Canada, we're doing everything we can to put Trump back in his cage, based on an article by Robert Reif. Trump's tariff theater is a tax on everyone else. How or where is the tariff? Trump has ordered a 50% tariff on a broad swath of Canadian imports, claiming he is punishing Canada for discrimination against American goods. The immediate result is not punishment directed upward. It is a tax imposed downward on American buyers, importers, workers, and taxpayers who will absorb the higher costs, any refunds, and the fallout if the policy is later struck down. The decision is the damage. This is not economic confusion. It is executive power used as a blunt instrument. Trump made the decision, and the White House dressed it up as retaliation. The source material is clear that the tariffs are not some abstract market event. They are a deliberate choice to raise prices on plywood, paper, furniture, hockey sticks, cement, and whatever else enters the country from Canada. That is the point. Harm is the mechanism. Punishment for Canadians, billing for Americans. The rhetoric is familiar, grievance framed as strength, self-inflicted damage framed as national toughness. But tariffs are import taxes, and import taxes are paid here. The public is told this is a patriotic strike against Canada. In reality, Americans are the ones who get the increase. That is the basic con at the center of tariff politics. Convert executive anger into a domestic price hike, then call it sovereignty. Refunds do not undo the extortion. The piece notes that even if the Supreme Court later says Trump lacked authority, and even if the government refunds importers, ordinary people do not get made whole. Corporations keep the benefit of any Treasury refund. Taxpayers cover the bailout twice over, once through higher prices, and again through public money used to refund the trade war after the fact. This is not a technicality. It is how elite risk gets socialized while the public is left with the bill. The real target is democracy's discipline. Trump's explanation is so flimsy it almost obscures the actual motive. Canada retaliated against his earlier tariffs. Canada refused to play submissive. Canada would not indulge the fantasy of annexation. So he escalated. That is the logic: punish resistance, reward obedience, and turn foreign policy into a personal vendetta. The article correctly reads, this is more than trade policy. It is authoritarian temperament translated into economic coercion. The pattern: grievance is governance. The deeper story is not Canada, tariffs, or even the Supreme Court. It is a system in which one man can impose broad economic pain, misdescribe it as strength, and leave everyone else to clean up the costs. This is governance by ego, misdirection, and institutional cowardice. The public is asked to endure higher prices, weaker wages, and cascading retaliation while the regime sells the damage as toughness. That is the pattern worth naming. When political power is detached from accountability, economic policy becomes punishment theater, and the public becomes the captive audience. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to AlterNet for today's article. With the automated voice of Riza, thanks for listening.